There we go. There we go. Hey, everybody, let's do that again. It's Monday night. Welcome to the Monday night team up call. And it's so much fun seeing so many of you. And I know that you're here because you're excited about our speaker tonight. And I don't know, show of hands, how many of you are at the Dallas Summit? Oh, quite a few hands going up. So our speaker tonight, Allie Schneider, just rocked the house. She was part of this panel discussion at Summit. But if you were at David Beaver's P for Q earlier that day, I mean, she stopped traffic. She was just so amazing. And you know how, like, you know, when I do these Monday night calls, I'm like smiling and dialing, calling people I know. Could you be on the call? Could I schedule you for the call? No, Allie came up to me at Summit and said, Terry, can I be on one of your calls? I have information I want to share. And I said, stop the train, yes. Okay, so let me tell you a little bit about Allie. Okay, number one, she's like me. We both hate bios, but Allie is a wife. She's a homeschool mom, okay? She was a health and fitness advocate, okay? And her husband is the head coach for the women's basketball team at the University of Kansas. That's pretty spectacular. Okay, Allie, I pulled one other thing out of your bio, besides the fact that once she made the decision to be national marketing director, I think she was like sales coordinator and she was NMD, and she's going to talk to you about that in under a year. Boom. Okay. So powerful. 50 Club, this woman knows what she's talking about, but on your bio, Allie, it said that, you know, you graduated with a master's degree in health, physical education, and recreation. So I don't know how well you did in health and PE. I mean, you look strong. Okay. But that recreation part, I mean, hands down, those must have been like straight A classes for you, because I have never met anybody that enjoys fun. And I mean, you're always right in the center of it. At the last conference, Allie was jump roping, double dutch. Do I remember, were you like doing planks to double dutch jump rope? I was just couldn't believe it. Yeah, so everybody, give it up for Allie, because Allie's going to talk to us tonight about creating culture. And a lot of you want to know about her power bowls. So here we go, girl. Take it away.
Awesome. Thank you so much. It is funny. You know, at the Dallas Summit, I had enough of you come up and ask questions that's why I went to Terry. I said, let me just get on a team call and explain this. And so I am going to talk specifically to how we do some of our events. So if you were at P4Q, I'm going to share some of that stuff again, but also like how we do these events, the Powerball events, and we're doing a lot of women's empowerment events. And it goes right along with culture and the culture that we're creating as our team and as our community. So I think it all fits in perfectly together. So I'll just kind of start, and if you guys, Terry, if you want me to elaborate on anything as I go through here, I'd like to just have conversation too.
You go have conversation. I got notes. Okay, you had this handout. I have notes. I took notes at P4Q. And so, you know, if you want to just, you know, highlight, you know, love, acceptance, appreciation, and go down. They were all so powerful.
Okay, awesome. Yeah. So, you know, I was at P4Q, I was talking about building culture and how important that is. And it's my life, you know. As said, I'm 39 years old, and for the last 35 years, I have been part of a team. I played team sports. I was a 3-sport athlete, team sports, all team sports in high school. I played basketball in college. Then I coached college basketball. My husband's still a coach. I'm still a coach. So like everything I know, everything in our life revolves around being part of a team. And what I know is that alone we can accomplish so little. And, you know, I don't know if you guys, if you've played sports or not, it doesn't matter. But if you're in this business, then you are part of a team. And it's so important to understand that the culture that you create, and you guys have an amazing upline support. So you can take part of their culture, you know, but as you're bringing your own team together and you're stepping into that leadership role, thinking about the things that you want to create within your team and, you know, kind of taking down to your downline all the way through. It's important. It's an important thing to start thinking about. But you know, as being part of a team, whether it's basketball or Juice Plus or whatever it is, we know that you cannot do anything alone. You can be the best distributor and you need to be the best distributor on your team. That should be our goal, but you can't be the only one. You can't be the only one doing events. You can't be the only one, sending messages. You can't be the only one following up with people. You can't be the only one doing anything. And so as good as you can be, you're not going to reach your goals. You're not going to have success in this business if you don't have a whole team of people doing the same thing that you're doing. So creating a culture that manifests that manifests success. We talk about breeding success. That's what you have to create. And so somebody in your upline has created it. You guys are part of an empire, and it's awesome. But if you want to create that for yourself, then you have to carry that on and bring on your own, bring in a little bit of your own flavor, if you will, to whatever you want for your culture. So that's really what I want to talk about. There's three main things that when I look at what our team is doing and what I believe really is setting us up for long-term success, and we are really manifesting within our team culture. Number one is love, acceptance, and appreciation. Number two is consistency. And number three is the fun factor. And when we put all those things together in the right way, it's creating a culture that people are so excited about, that people want to be part of, that people not only want to be part of, but they kick themselves and they hate to miss anything. And they're really excited to invite their friends and everybody to join. They have no hesitation inviting people into our community because we have created this culture that breeds those things, love, acceptance, and appreciation being number one. So I'll talk just real quickly about this, but it's so important to understand. And I don't know, where all you guys are in the business, but every single one of you, wherever you're at, you play a very important role in your team and within your upline's team. So we all play a role, and every single role is just as important. We would love for everybody who signs up ready to hit NMD from the beginning, but the truth is the majority of our team is made up of DDs and VFs. And, as you get bigger, you're going to have more sales coordinators, but always, the majority of your team is always going to be DDs and VFs. And so making sure that, people who are at that level, it's a very important role, and making sure that those people know how awesome it is, how appreciative we are that they're part of our family, they're part of our culture. And some people are good being there. Some people, are going to be there for a while and then want to move on. And I'll tell you guys, you can always hold that vision for people. If they're not quite ready, you hold the vision for them until they are. And that's really important to be able to do. I know that I'm sure a lot of you on here, Terry saw it in you before you saw it in yourself, or Jamie or Amber or anybody else on here. They probably saw things in you before you had enough growth to see it in yourself. And so it's important to be able to do that. I know, my sponsor is Joy Kelly, and I shared at P4Q that when Joy hit 100 Club, I was only one of her 100 qualifiers, and I had been in her business really for a long time. I just hadn't done much with it. And so, when I look at that, I feel like, gosh, Joy should have flown to Kansas and shaken me up. But because she knew I had so much more potential than being just one of her 100 qualifiers, but I wasn't ready. And so you guys might be there. You might not be ready yet, and that's totally fine. Awesome that you're connected, that you're on this call, that you're part of your team culture. And whenever you're ready, then your team will be ready to support you in that. But if you are ready, then it's time to start building your own culture. But, for Joy to be able to hold that vision for me until I was, now I am a 50 club, and I do have much bigger goals than this. And if she wouldn't have held that vision for me, or if she wouldn't have accepted me and appreciated me, she let me know how much she appreciated me being one of her 100. And I didn't, it was awesome. And if she wouldn't have appreciated and accepted me at where I was at that point in my life, I don't know if I'd still be here. And so I'm forever grateful for that. And that's something that, we are definitely passing on within our team, is just making sure everybody knows they're valued at every place you're at. So bring your strengths to the table, and, just do what you can for your team. The second one is being consistency, though. Being consistent. That is something, as you guys are on this call, so I'm sure you are great at it, but being that leader, being that example for your team, if there's a call that you want them to be on, your team to be on, then you need to be on it. It's just how it works. Like we want to get to a place where our team will totally go without us. That's the ultimate goal. But right now we are all at a place that we have to show up. We have to lead by example. We need to show up when we want to be there, and we need to show up when we don't necessarily want to be there. We want to show up when it's easy and when it's hard. We know, like, trust me, I know how hard it is to get places and get things done. But I have this quote, Rachel Hollis, that I've been sharing a lot lately. And Rachel says, success is about choosing between what you want now and what you want most. And I've been sharing that so much with our team because, I mean, it speaks to our business. It's even just last night, so I live in Kansas, right? The Chiefs were playing last night, and we had a house full of people, but that happens to be our team call is always Sunday nights at 7 p.m. And AJ Majors, who's an NMD on my team, was here, and we had to go into my master closet to find enough quietness because the house was full of people and kids. And we were in my closet doing a team call last night. We had to choose, between what we wanted now and what we want most. And what we want most is to build our team. We could take 30 minutes away from the Chiefs game, to build our team. And that is how I did go from sales coordinator to NMD in 6 months, was just that, like making a decision, number one, but choosing what I wanted most over what I wanted in the moment. You guys are all on this call. You could be sitting on the couch having a glass of wine. Probably not. You're probably escaping your kids, which is what I'm doing. but you're here, right? So you have to show up for your team to show up. And that is something that you want to pass down the line. You want every big event you go to, and your team is going to know that's just what you do. I was going to conferences, for I don't even know how many I went to before I actually got the vision, just because that's what I thought we had to do. Joy and Mitra didn't really give you a choice. I just thought that's what you did. And so I showed up at conferences, and that's part of our culture, and if you want your team to go, you go. You guys were all at the Dallas Summit. That's how you're going to get your team to get there. So just being consistent, not only in the big things, but in the daily things, working your business every day, reaching out to people, just creating that within your culture, because that's what you want your team to do. And I would challenge you, if you struggle with this, and I do, I have, I homeschool my kids. My husband's gone most of the time. I've got everything else going on, craziness. And I struggle sometimes figuring out how to get there. I'm speaking in Branson this weekend, and I still haven't figured out what I'm doing with my kids. It's 3 days away, but I'll get it done. It'll all work out, but you just have to say yes. And then you figure it out later. It'll get figured out. I'm telling you guys, if you try to figure things out first, then you'll go overwhelmed with the details and you will not end up doing anything.
Wow.
Not going to the event, because the details of how to make it happen can be so overwhelming. So you have to commit first, and then the rest of it will figure itself out. That's my biggest, that's the biggest thing I can share that has happened for me, that I had to realize. Just say yes and work it out, and then create that as a culture within your team. But in the end, yes, we're all busy. Every excuse, I think, is equal. We all have 24 hours in a day right now. It's just, what are your priorities? And I shared this, I shared this in Dallas, but it's true. And that's how I think of it. If you have a hard time getting somewhere, or you think you don't have time to do something, or you can't show up, you're not being consistent, then you need to just say to yourself, it's not my priority right now. And if it's really not, then that's fine. Like I said, we love everybody wherever they want to be in this business. But if you have building a business is something that's on the top of your list, if it's a priority in your life, then that won't feel good for you to say, that's not my priority right now. And you'll figure out how to change things around so that you can show up and you can be there and be consistent for your team. I think that's a really important thing. And then the third thing of the three main things is the fun factor. And this, this is the biggest, like all of it's big, but this is why, I know this is why my team does not want to miss anything, because we just have a lot of fun. And, you know, that starts from the top. You know, if I'm not having fun, or if I'm not trying to create fun, then I don't know if they will or not. But we have to understand that people come to us and come into this opportunity with lots of stuff going on in life. And there's lots of stress in life, and there's lots of negativity in life, and there's lots of whatever. People don't want that when they come into this. We have our own special bubble. And what we want to create in here is like people's out. You know, people want to get on our team calls because that's when they get to feel loved and have fun. People want to come to events with us because they know they're going to have fun. And you want to create that for your team. If you're not creating fun for your team, then why would they show up? Why would you continue to grow? Why would they want to invite their friends if they're not having fun? If they're not don't think they're gonna go to an event and have fun, then they're not gonna invite their friends into the business. So that is it's such an important one. This sounds silly, but I'm telling you guys, when you have that, you know, we have that culture to the point now that I promise you, everyone who was at the Tampa conference, there's no chance they're missing Sacramento, because we had so much fun, and there's no chance they're not inviting people to come with them either. So fun, if the fun factor, it sounds like, you know, such a silly thing, but it is really important. And if you're trying to create a culture that's going to last and that people want to continue to invite people to join. So those are like the three main points that I have as far as just kind of building culture. I do want to talk specifically on some of these events, and you can stop me if you have questions or you want to add anything in here. But some of these events that we're doing, it is about creating culture. It's about, it's fun. Everything we do is fun, but, you know, bringing people into our community, loving on them right where they're at. We have been doing a lot of women's empowerment events, and it's changing our culture. And just, we're not really even talking about Juice Plus, but we're all sharing our stories, and sharing that we're connected through this community, and sharing, really being proud of the community that we're part of, because we are all part of a community and a culture that lifts people up, that helps people rise from the ashes, that helps people find themselves and step into who they were created to be. And it's really cool when you can share that with other people. So we've been doing a lot of those, these Powerball events that we do. So I, like 7 years ago, started doing salad and char parties, and they're awesome. And that helped us build community. Like that helped us, you know, build towards NMD, honestly. But a lot of you guys had questions about them, and I truly just used them as like community building, relationship building events. We're really big into building relationships, and that's why I'm also really big into follow-up. Because that's how you build relationships. You know, you send somebody one message and then you never get back to them, you're never going to build a relationship with that person. And I know that you guys are all about that. So, you know, but that's what I believe. And that's why we do these, now we call it, they're Powerball events. And I host it at my house every week. Some of you had questions about that. Yes, I will talk on the women's empowerment events, but I host a Powerball event at my house every week. If I'm out of town, then sometimes they host it here without me. Like everybody in Lawrence has my garage code, I think, or a lot of people do. Or, you know, somebody else might have it at their house, but we are consistent. It's really important that you're consistent in that. And because it's part of our culture, is showing people that we're here to help them get healthy. We're here to support them. And if we did it once and then didn't do it again for 3 months, then that's not being very consistent. So we make sure that we're going to do it every week, whether I'm in town or not. But we create a Facebook event. So there's not, for this, it's not a flyer or anything. It's a weekly event. So we just create a Facebook event. And in there, I put a poll that asks them, and I can invite a couple of you if you want to see it, but I really just made it up the first time I did it. It's like going crazy now, but I create a poll of their options, because we don't necessarily, you know, especially if you have somebody new in their health journey, and they don't know what to bring. They feel intimidated because they don't want to put the wrong thing. And then they put cheese, and you don't want to have to say, please don't bring cheese because we're shredding. So you create your own poll, okay? It saves everybody's feelings. So, you know, and in that poll, like we're doing like brown rice, quinoa, black beans, pinto beans, roasted everything, roasted peppers, roasted Brussels sprouts, roasted mushrooms, roasted broccoli, roasted cauliflower, and roasted sweet potatoes, whatever it is, you know, and then like sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds, peanuts, kale, spinach. But I have a whole list of things that, so it takes maybe a tiny bit more prep than a salad party because they're usually cooking something, but it is going over so crazy. Like we have, I think we have, just this last weekend, we had 5 of like people within my team all on Sunday because we're too big, that like we have like 15 people at each party, and that's just in Lawrence, you know, so they're all over the place, but that's the gist of it. And some of you were asking, when do we share Juice Plus? Honestly, I don't at those events. And it's real that I think that's been the biggest thing. And because we're consistent, we do it weekly, people want to come back. You know, they don't want to think they are going to have to sit through a presentation every week, or they might not come back. And they also won't invite their friends if they're scared their friends are going to have to sit through a presentation. Now, I use it to build relationships 100%. And a lot of times I talk to people on the side or they stay after, but I don't ever do a presentation with it. You know, if there's a lot of new people, I might welcome them as that we're part of the healthy living revolution. And, you know, we do this to help people create a healthy lifestyle, but I don't ever do a presentation along with it because we're literally in and out in 20 minutes, you know, 20 to 30 minutes. And then the people who I'm building relationships with and having conversations with, and they might hang out if, you know, if they have specific questions after. So that is how we're doing those events. Does anybody have more questions about that?
Now, you should unmute yourselves, guys, because I know a lot of you are very curious about this.
Allie, I have a question. How many bowls does each guest make to take home? How many containers do they bring?
5 to 6. Most people do 5 to 6. And it's, you know, it's up to them, but some people still do their mason jars, even though we're calling them power bowls now. People still bring their mason jars to fill up. Some people bring little Tupperware things, but, and then I didn't even add this. So what most people are doing, and you can eat them cold, they taste fine, but most people just toss them on a skillet for like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And just to warm them up a little bit, you know, that you might add some people have there's some sauces actually in the Shred cookbook, but like liquid aminos or something like that to add to it if they want something extra. Usually there's so much flavor because of all the roasted veggies that you don't really even need anything else, but just they're making like 5 to 6 jars or Tupperware containers and then just throwing them on the skillet and heat them up for 2 minutes and it's ready.
Allie, I love that. What an incredible way to expand your network. I mean, so many reps in the Juice Plus community, you know, that have been with us, you know, like say for more than 3-4 years, they go, you know, I've used up my warm market. I don't know who to talk to anymore. And so if you're having these events and say originally 15 people show and they had such a good time and they come back next week, but they invite 2 or 3 people that you don't even know, what an opportunity to expand your network. And that's what this is. And that's how you then expand the Juice Plus message, is because you have an expanded network.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And, you know, because it's a Facebook event, they're inviting their friends through the Facebook. So then I get to friend them as well whenever they, you know, for example, just yesterday, a new girl this was only her second one to ever come to. She was invited by another friend. You know, she came yesterday and she said, I have 3 friends that really want to do this. Do you care if I bring them next week? And so, you know, now she's inviting those 3 friends. And so now I've already friended her 3 friends who I had no connection with at all on Facebook. So now I can start my own building a relationship with them process and following up with them. So it's exactly what it's creating.
Wow. That's just so powerful. I love it. Okay, guys, who else has questions?
I had one.
Yeah, go ahead.
when people bring in their items, say, you sign up for black beans or rice or whatever, how much are you asking each person to bring?
Yeah, it's for you, it might be trial and error the first couple times. We typically have 15 people in our group, and once it gets more than that, then we split and we say, you start one here, go to this one. But the easiest thing for me to tell people is like your biggest mixing bowl full of sweet potatoes.
Okay.
What happens is people figure out what it is that they're bringing, and they bring the same thing every week because they know how much to do. So it's hard I tell people always watch the event. For us, you have to think if there's 15 people and they're all filling 5 to 6 jars, and just, figure out how much that is, and understanding that they're only going to put like 1 scoop probably, of each thing into their jars. Because when there's 15 people, that's a lot of ingredients too. So I just say that to get them started, I say like your biggest mixing bowl full of roasted broccoli.
Okay.
And then they'll figure out if it's not quite enough or too much, and they'll adjust it next time.
Thanks.
I got a question for my friend Allie. Allie, you say that the key is building relationships, but I couldn't agree more. But what does your follow-up look like?
After the Power Bowls?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if they're new people, then I obviously create them as friends on Facebook, and I have a whole nother thing that I do, a Teamsy thing. So if it's a new person I've just met on Facebook, then the first connection that I have with them is I'm just going to go to their page and love their profile picture. I'm going to love something they've posted. I'm going to comment on something else, because that's going to allow my post to start showing up in their feed. Because if I haven't done that yet, then Facebook doesn't think we're actually connected, and no matter what I do, what I post is not going to show up to them. So that's a Facebook hack that you have to do right away when you friend somebody, is love, and comment. And then I would do that the day I meet them. And then I always set my follow-up for 2 days later, and I'll go back and with the people, if they've come to the Power Bowl, then it's so simple, because it's what do you think? How'd you like your Power Bowls? And then just start a conversation from there with that. But if I don't log my follow-ups and set it for like 1 or 2 days later, and those people, the brand new people, I try to follow up with at least every other day until they go somewhere else in the funnel. They either become a customer, they become a representative, or they're bringing more people to the event. But for the first few times, I will follow up with them like every couple days. But it's easy when it's, what do they think about their Power Bowls, and then go from there.
Love it. Thanks, Allie.
Fabulous, Allie. Fabulous.
So, Allie, this is Judy. How do they know what you're bringing from the Facebook event that everybody marks on there, so everybody sees, they don't duplicate?
Yep, that's why. Yep, the poll's created, and they just click on what they want to bring in the poll.
It's so easy. I love it.
Yeah, it's so easy. It's almost 30 minutes, but so Allie, thank you. I mean, that's so powerful. I'm also intrigued with these women empowerment programs that you're doing. Are they Zoom events? Are they in-home? What are you doing with these?
We're doing them in person. And
yeah.
To be honest with you, we have done, 5 or 6 here in the last, like November, December, and January. The last one we just did last week in Wichita, and it was amazing. We rented out this whole little vegan cafe, but they also serve wine, so it was awesome. But just, creating the right environment. But we are just being vulnerable and sharing our stories. And we typically try to have like 4 to 5, and they don't have to be Juice Plus reps. If you have friends, who have a story to share that people need to hear, then let them, let them share. It's just like we do. I'll tell you, okay, I'll give you the rundown of what we did at this last one, because it was mind-blowing, the power that the people left with. So we created like questions. Well, I shared some story. I started out like empowering people to take control of their health and sharing my story. I don't talk about Juice Plus. If we do, we just say Jeff Olson we're part of Shining Star with Jeff Olson. So if you guys were at Dallas, you heard him talking about plant concentrates and vegan shakes. And that's kind of the language that we use all the time. Especially if it's new people, because if you say Juice Plus, they're just going to go Google it and whatever. So anyway, if we're mentioning our products and we say, I got introduced to plant concentrates 10 years ago, and so sharing that. And then we have somebody sharing, something vulnerable about and how this community has really helped them rise from something, maybe different things have happened in their life. And then we passed around this last time, we'll do it again for sure. We passed around papers and they were like personal questions, but like really, like, have you ever hated the way you look? Have you ever wanted a different life? Have you ever been sexually assaulted? Have you like really, and then like fold them up a lot, and we've shuffled them around the room like 100 times. So nobody had any idea where anybody's were. And then just this was really cool. Then AJ stood at the front of the room and just read the questions. And so you were standing up if somebody said yes. And so you did not have your own paper, obviously, but it was so empowering. It was a room, there was 53 women there. And for them to see how many other people had felt the same way they had at some point, how many other people hated the way they looked, or how many other people felt like a failure at one point, or how many other people, don't feel like they're living up to their potential. So it was really empowering for that. And then, we just told them, this community that we have is exactly what we just demonstrated. It's people having their backs. Your sister just stood up for you. Somebody else had your paper and she stood up for you with everything that, that you wrote down that you don't like or that you want to change. Your sisters in this community, that's what we're all about. We have each other's backs. And then we wad up the papers and we throw them away because it's not what defines us, and that's not what defines our future. And, then we empower people to dream. What do you want to do? When did you stop dreaming? And then so we kind of end with the call to action of writing down some dreams and helping them learn to dream again. And I'm telling you guys, like that's part of what our culture is becoming, but it's so cool. And at that last event, I had some people there that I had just been following up with for a long time that had never been to an event that were so blown away. They know what I do. And a lot of you guys, everybody's going to know what you do, but the fact that we're showing that Juice Plus is more than a product, it makes them want to be part of our community. And so the more you can showcase who we really are as a company and who your culture, the culture of your team, what that really is and where your hearts are, the more you can showcase that, the more people are just going to want to join you, and they're going to want to invite other people to your events. So that's a little bit on that.
Wow, I'm blown away. That is so beautiful. Allie, would you share those questions with me at some point?
Yeah.
I would love to experience the questions.
Yes.
All right, guys, we have held on to this woman for 35 minutes. And does anybody have a quick question or anything that they want to ask Allie before we let her go about her events? No? Well, what I can tell you, Allie, is that we are so grateful. Yes. The other Terry.
I did have a question. One of the questions that someone else had listed was, what days do you find work best, time of the day and the length of the events?
We always do Sunday afternoon because a lot of people tend to food prep on Sundays.
Yeah.
So I usually do Sunday afternoon at 4:30, but we have found like one group that split off does it Monday mornings at 9 a.m. because it's a bunch of stay-at-home moms and they want to play date for their kids anyway. And Sundays are not good for them, but Monday mornings, they're just home with their kids and they want to do something. So I think it just depends on your group of people. Sunday afternoons is what works best for my group. But like I said, that group is Monday mornings. One group is Saturday mornings that are doing it right now. So I think you just have to figure out
what works.
Years, yeah, and ours, we don't last more than 30 minutes, honestly, except for unless people are hanging out to talk.
Afterwards, okay. Oh my gosh.
What about the women's empowerment meeting? How long do they last?
Well, it depends. The last one, like we did, was at a restaurant, so everybody showed up. You know, we told them have their food ordered by 6:45. We started at 7. You know, we were done, or like the program, like us talking and stuff, we were done by like 7:40, but people hung out and drank wine and whatever until like 9:30 because it was fun and they wanted to be there.
Yeah.
So I think that depends on where you're doing it at as well. If there's food or drinks or not, you know, you're going to you definitely want some time for networking a little bit before and a lot after, because another one of we left them with an assignment of making sure you leave here connecting with somebody you did not know before you came. So. Oh,
beautiful. Beautiful. All right, Allie, I mean, I feel like I should write you a check. I mean, for services rendered. How many of you are happy that this is recorded? Say yes. Unmute yourselves. Let's show Allie how much we care. I love you, girl. Thank you, Allie. Good night, everybody. You're the best. See you next week. So long, everybody. Good night.
Bye, guys.
Bye, Allie. Mwah. Love ya.